about the ability to have a temporary post office here. There is planning permission for them to have a temporary post office here, and the whole intent of shutting it temporarily, as they say, we believe is so that there will be no post office service at all, or only a franchise one in one of the shops, and they haven't been able to come to a deal. So the point of today is, as Julie said, is that this shouldn't be the last post. It actually is the campaign to make sure we do maintain a post office service here, which they're trying to get rid of. So the point of these letters is, yes, to have a long queue and to keep the post office open as long as possible, but also it is to make sure that we do register with the post office centrally, with Roger Gale, that we're not going to go away, and that the campaign will keep on going until there is a restoration. And Brian Hitchem's been mentioned, and I'm sure he'll be here, but he's the representative from the Chamber of Commerce. And all of the small traders in Whitstable need an accessible, good post office for their trade and for their business. Brian runs a bookshop. He does his books through post. Where's he going to take them? Into Canterbury, down to Swellcliffe, to Tankerton? It's not realistic for it to happen. And this used to be, I did a meeting, there's some election going on, I did a meeting where I had to go back to my youth and think about things. And I remember when Thatcher came to power, just about, railways, post office, you go through all of the things that were in public control then, and they've all been sold off and got rid of one after another. Gas, electricity, water, and what we're seeing is the continuation of that process, and there being no public services in Whitstable. And Whitstable is a prosperous, great little town, and why on earth is it going to be left without a service like a post office and all the other ones that have been removed? So thank you all very much for coming out. I'm just filling the time up here until Brian has arrived.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out this afternoon. You're probably as relieved as I am that it's now stopped raining. As you're probably aware, this dispute's been going on since the Post Office announced in 2013 they intended to close the Crown Post Office. And that was their goal, and that is what they're still intending to do. And they've bent all of the rules all the way down the line. They've had 5 years warning that this building is being redeveloped. They've had 5 years warning that this building is being developed. And it's now the day of closure, presumably a few weeks before the building itself is demolished. And they still haven't managed to put a temporary post office on this site. Make alternate arrangements. And that's disgraceful. It's not just something that affects the business community, it's something that affects the whole community. Lots of people of all ages use the post office for all sorts of services, and it's a vital service for our town. And people aren't always in a position to travel all the way up to Tankerton or Swellcliffe. And it's something that we depend on, and it's something we have to say to the post office. We want our post office returned. We want a guaranteed continuation of a Crown Post Office service. And we want a guarantee of a continuing post office facility in the centre of town. And that's what we're here for this afternoon. We want to show the post office that the town as a community will stand together, and we won't just roll over and give in to their disgusting behaviour. So thank you all for attending. I'll hand you back to Julie now. I'm sure we'll have something to say, as she normally does. And thank you, it's so nice to see so many of you here.
We're just going to use this space to hear from a few people in our community who work constantly to save services. And I believe that we've got Ian Page, representative from the Stop the Cuts group here. Ian, would you like to say a few words? Yeah? We'll hear from some of the other political candidates who are here. In the interest of fairness, we've got the Green candidate, we've got the Lib Dem candidate. We don't have any Tory candidate here, but that's not our fault. Okay, here we go.
Yes, good afternoon everybody. Just speaking on behalf of Stop the Cuts, just to say that we completely support this campaign and condemn the closure of our post office. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? It's Post Office Limited that run the service. Well, it's a very apt name because they're limiting our access and our rights to a Crown Post Office and the services that it provides. They're limiting the opportunities for local businesses, for individuals, for pensioners and disabled people to use the services that we have a right to. They've got a limited memory when it comes to putting up the planning permission for the temporary service, and they've got a limited understanding of their responsibility to us, both legal and moral, to provide us with a service. So we condemn this completely. Stop the Cuts will continue to campaign with all the campaign groups and all the local community to get back our Crown Post Office. And just, I would also like to say, as a member of the Trade Union Socialist Coalition, TUSC, we will also, we condemn this as well, and we will also do everything we can to help this community support the brilliant campaign and bring back our Crown Post Office. Thank you very much.
And as I said, in the interest of fairness, we've got the Lib Dem parliamentary candidate James Flannigan, who lives locally, so he can just say a few words, and then we'll go to the Green parliamentary candidate Stuart Jeffrey, who's over there. In the interest of fairness, here we go.
Hello, can you hear me? Yep. Excellent, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I've also been a member of the delegation, the cross-party delegation, which has also included traders, residents as well, Chris Stone and Brian Hitchem, and we've been trying to fight for this post office to keep it open as a Crown Post Office now for some time. We had a public meeting last November, to which many of you here and many others came along, and that's where the delegation was formed. And after that, we went and met the post office in London and put to them our concerns. But since then, I think it's fair to say that all the way along, hurdles have been put up in front of us. So we were told initially that there was no, or they were unaware, the post office were unaware of any planning permission to have a temporary post office here on the car park. So we sent them the details from Canterbury City Council saying, yes, you do have planning permission, it exists. Then we were told, well, we've got no porter cabins. Then we found out that they did have porter cabins. Then we were told, yes, but it's going to be difficult to get the BT lines in within 6 weeks. Then we found out, well, that's not necessarily the case. They can get them in. So all the way along we've had hurdles, all the way along in this campaign. And the issue is this, businesses, residents, all use this as a central part of the community. If this goes, your nearest post office from here is either Joy Lane, or it's Tankerton, or it's Swalcliffe. So for all those residents living here in town, particularly elderly residents who have to make that journey, that's a long way to go. And there aren't that many desks in either of those, and they're already heavily used during the day, particularly at weekends. So we absolutely have to keep this as a central part of our community. We've lost many services already, the visitor centre, the delivery office, to name just a couple. We need to continue the job centre, yes, thank you very much, the job centre too, under threat. So we need to fight as hard as we can to keep this in place. And although today is the day that's closing, this doesn't mean that the fight's up. We still have other things that we need to fight for to make sure the services are still here. So please continue to support us as the delegation and support everybody who's fighting to make sure that this extremely important service remains in some shape or form as a Crown Post Office for the benefit of all of us in our local community. Thank you very much.
I mentioned to you that we have a bugler coming on his way. He's going to play the last post very fittingly. And when he does, maybe that might be a suitable time for some of us to go and post our letters in the box. But for now, I'm going to introduce Stuart Jeffrey, who's the Green parliamentary candidate locally. And Stuart did come with our group last autumn to the visit to Post Office Limited in London. This is Stuart.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to see so many people here. I think most of what I wanted to say has been said by the others, and so I thank you for that. And I thank Julie for the invite to speak, and obviously the work she's done over the last 4 or 5 months now. It is great to see so many people here. I have brought my letter with me. I will be posting it as best I can, somehow, somewhere, given that the post office post box is closed.
No, it's not.
So,
it is open.
It is open. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Excellent. So the post box was told was closed. But I'm proud to post it. I thank you all for coming. The Green Party will continue to fight for a post office in the centre of Whitstable. We think it's absolutely essential. Thank you.
Waiting for the bugler. Shall we wait for the bugler? Are you okay to wait for 5 minutes more? Yeah. And then I think what we could do when he's here is make our way down to the post box, because with the...
Has he got separate?
So I've got my phone. I've got it in. Look, hey guys, we should really. Oh wow! What's that?
Fiona, hey! Toasted Marmite!
Toasted Marmite! Fantastic! And it's yeah, everybody. Fantastic.
Thank you.
There's no need.
That's all right, I've got it. Yep.
Now be careful.
Okay, guys.
Toasted Marmite.
Nearly see you now.
Ian.
Gosh, it's become a cocktail party. Julie is there.
So, Brian, can you tell us what this is all about?
This post office closed today at 5:30
Yeah.
with no immediate plans to provide Whitstable with a post office. The post office have had 5 years notice of this closure, of the building being redeveloped, and they failed to organise a porter cabin because what they want to do is to deprive us of a crown post office. They want a break in between closing this office and opening a temporary one.
We've got a lot of community
Because that way, it's no longer a crown post office and we lose our guarantee of service. So after they've opened a temporary one, assuming they ever do, there is no long-term commitment to provide post office facilities in Whitstable. And there's no legal obligation for them to do that.
And so what are the people in Whitstable going to do to post their post here then?
Well, they're going to have to go up to Tankerton or they're going to go down to Sea Salter. But for the people in the town, particularly the older people in the town, who do heavily use the post office, it's not right. It's a long journey. It's bad enough in the summer, but in the winter, it's the loss of a major community facility, and it's not right.
I've got BBC South East TV News on the phone.
Okay.
Can we send them an image? Because they switched the lights off here some time ago, but we did get a photograph taken. And if you give me your email address, the community. The photos. No, we've been sending them out directly, emailing them to journalists. But we've now got the community down here, and they're coming through the windows with their phones, taking photographs right now. Have you got? Lovely, Daniel. Oh, I know, Daniel. You came for our other Royal Mail protest. Daniel.McLaren. Is it MC? MAC. Daniel.McLaren on Wednesday, the 29th of April, and we've been here since 5:30. We've been outside since 4 p.m. and this is Whitstable's last stand protest against the last post of Whitstable, because they're trying to close our post office. So we've used the whole occupation of the post office really to highlight the disingenuousness of Post Office Limited the lies that they've told to us about why they were closing this office. There was no need for them to close this office and to use as a pretext the redevelopment of this site. There was always planning permission for a temporary post office to operate from the car park during the redevelopment from porter cabins, but they were on a mission to close this Crown post office because then it will no longer be under statutory control. It won't be under government control. It'll be the vagaries of the commercial market as a franchise. That's what they've always wanted to do, to put our post office service into a franchise. But they've been unable to find a suitable franchisee, and we've always been against a franchise because it doesn't give us security of service. Lots of franchises have given them back because they don't find them commercially viable, and then people lose their post offices. We said to them, we're not against our post office going into a store as a Crown post office still. But they pretended they didn't know that that had ever happened. But it happened in Haywards Heath. And Haywards Heath is now a Crown post office service operating within a co-op. And it went from losing over £300,000 a year to being £50,000 a year in profit. So post office lie, they lie over and over again. They pretend with disingenuous statements that they're totally unaware that there was planning permission for a temporary post office. They said we told them, but we told them in March, and that was too late for them to facilitate the service. Well, that planning permission was in place since 2010. They knew about it. Their real estate company, Paribas, told them about it, and they said they were happy with the planning permission for that temporary post office. So we've remained in here to highlight the lies that that company have told, and we're still here, and we'll leave when we decide to leave, and no other time. That's it, John. And we really thank all the community that's come down, not only today, but this evening in the cold, because we're in the warm, but you guys are out there in the cold, and you've come and you've shown your solidarity. We've got tea and Marmite, toast, chips, chocolate, Mr. Kipling cakes, we've had Bakewell slices, we've had everything from our community, but the best thing we've had from them is support, and we can't thank you enough.
This is a true community thing, isn't it?
It really is a community. Well, a post office is a community resource, and that's what we're trying to protect, and that's why the community's here. It's their post office.
And the traders as well.
Traders, we've got business people here tonight as part of the Whitstable dozen. We had 2 pensioners at one point. We've got business people, we've got ordinary residents. You know, this is something that people felt viscerally, and they've reacted to very instinctively. You know, in a united way to support what's really an attack on our community. Really, it is an attack on our community when Post Office Limited says we can't have our post office anymore, and they lie about the reason we can't have it. That's an attack on us, and this is really an act of self-defence. But not just ourselves, the whole community. We're here to defend the community, we're here to defend the community's resource. And we'll continue to do that. This may be Whitstable's last post, this may be Whitstable's last stand, but it won't be the last protest on this issue. I can promise you that, Johnny.
Have you got any messages for Brazier, Julian Brazier, MP?
Well, I'd like to ask where he is, because today we had many councillors down here. I didn't see a Conservative councillor, and I certainly didn't see our MP, but I would have thought that an MP, it's his job to support his constituents, and it's his job to support a community resource, and I don't think that he's done that. If he was doing it, he would have come here, or he could have at least called Brian Hitchem, who's the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Why couldn't he do that? I think that's the least he could have done, really.
Yeah. How long have you been here now?
I got here at 3:30, and it's now 11:30. So we've been here for 8 hours all told.
And is this does this occupation have an end point, or?
Yes, it will have an end, and it'll end when we decide it will end.
Right.
And that's when we decide we've made our point.
Okay. Solidarity to you from the people of Whitstable, Julie.
And thank you very much, people of Whitstable, of which you are a member, and please convey our thanks and solidarity to you all outside in the cold. Thank you, John.
All power to you, Julie.
And
Cheers,
to you.
thank you.
And to you.
There we go. Okay, here we go. We'll give you a tour of our little post office thing here. And we can go and say hello to some people. And if we'd like to introduce ourselves, who are we?
Good evening. My name's Ian.
And what have we got over here?
Katrina.
We've got Katrina. There we go. Sorry, Katrina, right in your face.
Good evening, I'm Brian.
And Brian.
Tom, planning student.
Hey, and Kaz, and there we go. That's your little tour. That's about your lot, I'm afraid to say, but there we go.
Fantastic.
We'll just pass you back. There, John.
Do you want to do it for longer?
Oh no, mate, my arm's aching.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Just introduce.
Come over here. Come over here. Not your business.
Norbert, will you give it over? People with beers. No, honestly, we're here for the queue up with the by the last stamp.
We're here for a short time, not a long time.
Norbert barks at them.
Norbert, come out, come out.
Come here.
Hey, Norbert. Hey, Norbert. Hey, Norbert. Hey, Norbert.
That guy was going to his boyfriend.
Good boy. 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 Good boy.
Which gate now? Oh, you've got to do what I am in the process of making not being married. I don't put it
I'm there at 7, I'm there.
I never believed in marriage. You know, we only got married because my nan didn't want her.
Who is that?
Get married in wedlock. No, I never. So yeah, we are going through the process of getting divorced.
All right. Shall I edit him out? Yeah.
Hey, we're Boris. Hey, Julie! Yay!
Blimey! Over the post.
Yay!
Now.
Hold on.
Norbert, come in.
Norbert, hold on.
Come in.
Hello. Oh, really? Well, probably my choice, but we've got 3 tickets to the acoustic gig because it depends on the playing the strings. Okay. I'll get one of that.
No, Mr. Morris, there's no way out.
You're locked in.
Oh, that's a shame. I wanted to go in.
No.
Yeah.
I thought we'd let you know. It's now, I think, what's the time? 23:45. We're just gathering stuff together, and we're coming out. Midnight was our deadline. We said we would continue this protest until midnight, and that if we got arrested up until that point, we were willing to risk arrest. But we've made our point, we've made a peaceful protest, and we're just gathering up all our stuff, and we'll come out and make a proper statement, and thank you all very much.
I'm really excited now.
So we'll go in. Darby, what's a load of shit? Do you think they
some lovely people who've made it a very entertaining evening in there. And we've been supported very kindly by the community who bought us chips and oranges.
Lots and lots of chips.
Lots of loo rolls.
It's just really great to have that.
Homemade plum vodka.
And a pint. And some vodka, homemade vodka.
It was always our intention to go through until midnight. We weren't sure whether or not we'd be arrested before that time and thrown out.
Well, the
but
police
it turned
presence was a little bit modest.
Yes, but we did.
But they've been closed down too, so.
Yeah, of course.
We did have a bit of heavy-handed.
They were sweet.
Except for the particular one.
Yeah, there was one who tried to arrest you.
We've made our statement. This was the last post, but we've had the last word. But as Julie said, this isn't the last protest. So thank you for your support. Watch this space because it will be a continuing story. Thank you.
And one more thing.
At the CWU conference this afternoon, when word went out that this protest was taking place with hundreds of people here with the penny protest, and then following an occupation, there was a standing ovation. And all tonight I've been getting calls on my phone saying from the press's Facebook pages that people have been calling the press and registering their support. So you guys have been out here in the cold, but loads of people have been supporting, and it really means a lot because we're showing Post Office Limited that this is a community, it's a community action, and we keep fighting.
And please, one more thing, please come to the hustings. Every party was represented here today, except for the Conservative Party and UKIP.
That's true. And one other thing, try not to make this too much of a political event, but there was also seemed to be parliamentary candidates from every other party, but our MP was conspicuous by his absence.
Where is he?
Now, that's one thing. If he doesn't want to show his face down here, but what I take exception to is this is our president of the Chamber of Commerce. He represents a lot of business interests. Julian Brazier may not have a lot of time for what you would view as the left-wing elements of this community. But this is all of our community, and he should have time for the business people in this town, at least, and the man who represents them. And I'm really shocked to find out tonight that he didn't even text Brian. So, yah boo to Brazier.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, if the left would like to resign, how did you?
Well done. You did.
Well, there we are then. Well done, people.
You alright, John?
Yeah, all right. Let's have a look at that ball.
I didn't make it, mate. I inherited this off someone else.
Keep Crown Post Office.
Sorry, Katrina.
Yeah, I bet you are. I imagine everybody's been sort of like in there.
I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning.